All right, guys, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Live in the Shop with CustomLowz. Today, it's part 3 of this F-150 build. It's for 3-kicker CBX 10s. We got basically the whole structure done. We got a few 45s on the inside to add for strength. We got our port to put in. We also got the top to do. I'm going to do a few notches on the top just because, honestly, I don't have the sub here, so I'm a little worried that the motor might hit the top of the box. So we're going to make some notches on the top of the top, or in the top, add some pieces to it like a hump so we know there's going to be plenty of motor clearance and the customer's not going to have to worry about the subs fitting in. So really, first thing, I guess I'm going to start just adding the 45s in here. We got a whole bunch of small 45s we have to add on in the inside in here. I have some pre-cut just sitting around. Actually, I don't think, nope, none of these are going to work. Way too short. Basin Sierra 98, what's up, man? Thank you for tuning in, although you were tuned in 10 minutes early, so if you're here, hello. All right. All right, so we're going to go over the table saw, so we're going to move you guys a little bit. Sir Duke's Creations, what's up, man? Always up early? Yeah, me too, Basin Sierra. I like to wake up early. All right, so I'm going to adjust my saw to a 45. I'm going to be cutting the, I guess you can call them glue box, like in traditional cabinetry. They can hear me now. I'm not sure what's going on with the mic. I might have to clean the port of my phone out a little bit. Let me do that real quick, because I'm trying to move the camera around to give you guys, you know, better angles, but I think every time I do that, I'm slightly wiggling the port. All right, let me find a pick tool. We will lose audio again for a few seconds. Again, I have to unplug the port and then put it back in. Thomas Hood, what's up? Jay Steger, what's up, man? Thank you for tuning in. Okay, guys, you're going to slightly lose me, so we're going to need a sound check in a couple seconds. Sorry we're having to do this during the show. It's just how it goes sometimes. All right, so we're pulling the port out, and you're about to lose audio. hopefully we have actual audio back. The little, it's working. The mic works through the lightning cable and in the phone, and I've been trying to move it around a little bit to give you guys a better angle, but also I have to have this thing plugged in because the streaming totally kills the battery. Hopefully I have sound back. Let me know, guys. I know you guys heard some blowing noises. I was trying to get I was using my little pick tool inside the lightning port, trying to get all the dust out of there. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Somebody let me know. Everyone probably quickly turned off their audio once they heard all the loud blowing sounds. According to the mic, it's still connected, so we're going to hope for the best. All right, so hopefully, again, you guys can hear me. We're cutting some 45s for the inside of our box just to brace it up a little bit. I like to cut a large 45 on the outside of my box on the back wall, top and bottom. So try to keep in mind that I'm taking away some wood, so I want to add some somewhere. All right, that was a little dangerous, but we're okay. No fingers lost. Gonna move you guys back over here. JR73, what's up, man? Thank you for tuning in. Jose, thank you for tuning in. All right, hopefully we can get a decent camera angle. Let me turn it back up a little bit. And I'm hoping you guys are still maintaining audio. I think we are, though. All right, sweet. So if you guys are just tuning in, we're working on a 2018 Ford F-150 enclosure for 3 Kicker CVX 10s. I just cut up some 45s. We're going to add in some bracing on this enclosure. I basically just ripped down some scraps. I'm still going to have to go a little further and cut them down to actual length, but just the easiest to do something that's even a little longer. Just gives you a little more control. As you guys can see, towards the end, when you're getting really close to the end of your piece, it starts getting a little sketchy. So having that little extra length on the piece helps give you a little more control. Sean Barlow, what's up, man? Will, what is up, man? Thank you for tuning in, guys. George Campos, what is up, man? I hope you have some heat in your garage. It is super cold. I have no heat in here. I have no heat, no AC. That's why I'm wearing a jacket, a shirt, and a thermal. Also, I live in Florida, so it's not all that cold, but for a Florida guy, I am kind of cold. Will Wilson, thank you so much for the super sticker, man. I really appreciate it, dude. Oh, Sean, we're gonna have to do a full video on his box, dude. It turned out really well, honestly. Like the performance is awesome. Will, you're killing me. It would be cool to pick up the rings today. I will try my best for you. I got to get this box at least almost done today, so I'm trying, my man. I'm trying. Jay Steger, it was cold this morning in Fort Myers, Florida. Yeah, it was chilly, dude, for real. And it kind of does suck a little bit not having heat, I guess, but really the only issue I would say I have with not having heat is when it gets too cold and when it gets so cold and I don't have a heater in the shop that when I start spraying stuff, it messes it up. Oh, it's 54 degrees right now? Wow, that's actually colder than I thought it was. George Campos, wow, I'm about to go to Lowe's to get propane. To get propane, I have electric heat in the garage, but it's not enough. Be careful working. Oh, yeah, man. Too cold for me? Oh, I don't know, man. I mean, it's never too cold to work. It's just going to be too cold to spray any finishes. Although I would say when it starts getting below, I don't know, because the shop stays different. Sean Barlow, it's 34 in Ohio. Yeah, that's freaking cold. I'm hoping to make it up to Ohio this summer, visit some family, maybe before summer. I don't think I want to go during winter. Especially with you saying it's 34 degrees. That's too cold. I'm from Illinois, so 1 degree here in December is normal for me. Yeah, that's ridiculous. I would move. I would just move to a different place. What? That's too cold. I mean, I'm sure after a while you do get used to it. But, you know, kind of like getting used to the humidity of Florida. At first it really sucked, but then it's kind of like, whatever, it's nothing. Will Wilson ordering that Limitless 12K today. Awesome. Sounds good, man. All right, we'll try to work something out. You can pick up the rings and order the battery at the same time or something. It's still early, so I should be able to get a good amount done on this box. Florida isn't too humid. Where's more humid? I mean, I would figure Florida is more humid than a lot of places. I was originally from Nevada, so humid to me is anywhere that's not dry. Like, when I first moved here, I felt like I was inside a wet cardboard box for like a month. The air just seemed so moist to me for whatever reason. I mean, obviously there's moisture in there, there's humidity. Vegas, there's like, not that there's none, but I would say close to none. Definitely nothing that's noticeable. Yeah, Jose, Florida is one of the worst humidity states. I would definitely agree with that statement. I couldn't see how any state would be worse. I mean, we're a peninsula surrounded by water on 3 sides. Plus, I mean, even in Florida itself, we have like thousands of bodies of water. Like, just probably lakes and springs alone. So this is a damp place, that's for sure, man. I ain't never seen tools rust so quick, just even being like just out in the open, man. Like, my tabletop table will rust a little bit just from the open air. Oh, I'm out of coffee. It's terrible. Well, you were there last month. I would say, you know, once it starts getting a little cooler, the humidity isn't nearly as bad. So that's probably why you're thinking that. Or, hey, maybe I'm just a complainer, you know? JR says, yeah, in Texas, cold mornings, it takes an extra day or so for that polyurethane to dry. Yeah, no, for sure. I have learned that even just a small space heater will help. Will do enough to kind of keep my small shop warm enough. Unfortunately, I have to run it overnight, which is really not ideal in like any situation, but I kind of always put it on the concrete floor around, make sure nothing is like close to it, make sure all the sawdust is swept up, and I just keep it on low, and that little bit definitely helps. Thomas said, I have family that works in cold weather in the FedEx cargo hub in Memphis, Tennessee. When the weather hits every year, no matter what, got to keep the planes and trucks rolling despite weather conditions. Oh, for sure, man. You got to keep infrastructure going. I mean, even me, like, I'd work during a hurricane if I didn't think it was going to, like, seriously injure me or something. You know, businesses like that, dude, you stop production for minutes. It's like it ends up being weeks of slowdowns. All right, so I got this 45 cut down to size. I'm just gluing it up, kind of spreading out the glue with my finger. Kind of learned that when it's more evenly placed on the piece, it kind of glues a little better. I used to be one to just kind of squirt it like such, and then just let the pressure between the two pieces squeeze it, but I find that you don't get nearly as much coverage this way, or that way rather. This way works a lot better. Definitely takes a little more time, but it's worth it. In fall and winter, the leaves don't change color, but the license plates do. Oh yeah, that is definitely for sure, man. You started I started noticing a lot more. All right, hopefully you guys still have me. I don't know who. Someone was calling me. Hopefully it wasn't. No. Hopefully it wasn't a customer. I doubt it though. I don't give my number out to anybody. I don't even have a business line. I just have a private cell number. Yeah, hopefully you guys can still hear me. Sorry about that. That's the one downfall to using a phone to stream is when someone calls, it starts to mess me up. Not that I get a lot of calls, but I sure seem to get a lot more when I'm streaming than when I'm not. All right, so we got 145 in there. We're gonna put some glue on the seams. Again, I like to take my glue bottle, just use the tip of it to kind of put some glue on the seam between the two pieces, the one I just put down and the bottom, and kind of similar to what people do with caulking, just smooth it out with my finger. I do that just to give it some extra hold. I feel like the extra glue will definitely help add some strength, but also help seal things if needed. Of course, as long as you have a proper joint, you shouldn't need any extra sealant. All right, there's one. Oh, hit myself in the head with a tape measure. Troy, what's up, man? Good morning. Hopefully you're home and not on the road. Or I guess if you're on the road, you're making some money. So I guess that's not a bad thing either. But you always working like I am. Trimming that piece down a little bit. Too tight. A little too tight. Nice. Perfect fit. All right, again, get some glue on there. Spread it out with my finger. Never stops, I'm sure, dude. It can't. You never stop having to need money, so unfortunately, it's kind of a fact of life is just working. When I was younger, I was kind of, when I first started working, I first started kind of realizing oh my God, this is literally what you do. You work and go home and wake up and go to work and pay your bills and work and wake up and pay your bills and go to sleep and work and, back and forth over and over again. It's kind of like an endless cycle. And I'm like, wow, this is what my new life is now, my new adult life. I'm going to throw some glue on the ends here. Does window bracing restrict smooth airflow, or does it even matter? JR73, that's a really good question, man. I'm sure it in some ways would hinder, I guess, airflow. I think obviously you have to be mindful of how big of a hole you put. If you don't put a big enough hole, I'd say maybe then you'd start getting issues, or maybe like turbulence. Say this sub is in one section, you got a window brace here. This sub's in another section, another window brace here. This sub is in another section. I would start to believe that if you're window bracing, your holes were much smaller. Like I see some guys just use like a hole saw bit and they just do like 3 holes in there. I think maybe then you'd start to get some compression inside each chamber, which might affect things. But I try to make the cutout as big as possible while still retaining the strength of the bracing. I guess in a perfect world, like in my mind, I'd imagine not having it would probably be better for smooth airflow. But again, sometimes that's not even always your goal, because I mean, I've heard from a lot more knowledgeable people than myself that like adding 45s inside of a port or inside of an enclosure sometimes actually loses you decibels on the meter if that's something that you're actually going for. So if you care about exactly how loud something is going to be down to like the 10th of the decibel, you might start to care about the 45s in there. Myself, I think they add so much bracing that it's well worth any slight minor loss you might have. Obviously, that's not really considering the fact that they do take up volume. You have to design for it. You have to make sure you account for how much space your bracing is taking up. So I designed mine with the window braces in mind and these 45s. They do take up very minimal space, but once you start doing a box that has a bunch of them, obviously more space. I mean, even pennies add up to $1 after a while, so you keep adding little tiny sections of 45s. You might think, oh, it's just little pieces, it's not taking away much volume, but it will start to. Frank Johns, right answer. You saying I have the right answer? Hopefully I have the right answer. You're coming up with so many different there's so many different losses and gains, or kind of like wins and loses, I guess you could say. Well, thank you, Frank Johns, for confirming that I was right then. Damn it, now which side did I mark this on? Anyways, like with the bracing in itself, I also believe a strong enclosure, or I would say it's almost a fact that the stronger the enclosure, the more bass it could be potential of producing. But then also you have to be mindful that too much bracing might negatively affect your dB gain or your overall SPL rate, or reading, I guess you could say. Again, that's if you really care about that stuff. I mean, I've had big SPL builds where I really did care about how much, where I did care about how many decibels I was going to be doing, and even like customer builds. But again, you have to remember that something that's that loud is also going to shake stuff a lot, flex things, and you got to have the proper bracing. So a little bit of back and forth between hurting yourself and helping yourself when it comes to bracing, in my mind. You can definitely do too much. Although I think in some certain sub designs, you actually, like I've seen it a lot in the Paraflex or the Reflex, passive radiators. They'll do bracing, like so much bracing, but it almost seems like it's part of the design. I haven't toyed with any of those type of enclosures to actually know for sure, but just off of what I do know with other type of designs, it almost seems like it has to actually serve a function with that style enclosures. That style enclosure. Alright, so I got my middle 45 cut. I'm just spreading the glue on it. This one might need some rubber mallet persuasion to get into place. Get in there. Alright, when it don't fit, you make it fit with a mallet. When you don't fit, it'll fit. Alright, I don't know if I can get my nail gun in here. Jeez, that's awkward. Alright, I guess I don't want to nail from the outside though. I love that this gun has a swivel on the end, but it also sometimes makes like the rigid part of your hose way longer. Then you can't get it into tight places. Alright, so we got basically all our 45s on the back wall bottom. Alright, so got those in. We got the glue on the seams. Hopefully you guys can see the 45s in there. Now we're going to be doing the ones on the top, back. These are going to be a little trickier because you have to keep in mind that this top is also angled itself. So your normal 45 isn't necessarily going to just be a 45 on both sides. You have to cut a 45 and then a whatever angle this is. I'm just going to use my compound miter square to figure that out, wherever that's at. This thing. I think it's compound miter square. I believe so. Pretty sure. I could be wrong. Alright, so that will basically give me my angle that I'm going to set the saw up with. Okay, now I guess I'll use a piece of scrap 3/4 to mark out how thick the top is. That way I can kind of get a better idea of how I need to cut this 45, or at least at what angle I need to cut it at. All right, let's see. Is this short enough to fit in here? All right, that'll work as a good piece of scrap. Okay. So I'm going to get some scrap wood. I'm going to get a few pieces because I want to cut these. It's just going to be easier for me to kind of have the angle cut on a couple different sides of a piece. So we only need 3. Of course, this isn't long enough, though, for that section. Got to find the right pieces. Let's see. Is this long enough? It is. Okay. So we're going to use that piece there. And then I guess This should definitely be good enough for the center. Yeah, it is. I don't even need to go walk it over there. Okay, so there's our 2 pieces of scrap wood. Again, we're just cutting our 45 bracing up with these. Ooh, sorry about that loud noise. Hopefully you guys can still hear me, and you can, okay. I'm all sketched out now because the mic kept going in and out of me so much. Okay, so the first angle I'm going to cut on this piece is the angle of our top, which I have here with my compound miter square. Flip it that way. I believe this all goes that way. No. Yeah, it does. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm basically going to put this side here on the table saw and use this piece here to line the blade up with. JR73, what's the most expensive tool you had to purchase for your shop, sir? Definitely this table saw right here. And it wasn't even really that expensive. I think it was $1,400 at the time, which no doubt is definitely expensive for a table saw, but shoot, for some of the money we spend on our stereos, $1,400 is next to nothing for something that's produced me thousands of dollars. I mean, I've had this table saw for probably 5 years now, and the motor went out on me once, kind of unexpectedly, and I contacted Grizzly. They sent me a new motor, no questions asked. They even expedited the shipping on it. No questions asked when sending me the new motor. Didn't even ask me to send the old motor into them to prove it was broken. They just, here you go. Here's a new motor. Sorry you're having a problem. Hopefully this fixes it for you. So minus that one hiccup, this has definitely been an amazing table saw. I try to do the best upkeep I can. I'll admit I'm a little lacking once in a while just because I got so many things to keep coming out of here, keep going out of here and producing that sometimes I don't have time to completely take apart the table saw and grease and lube up everything. Really, that's more so just going to affect how easily my saw swings. Where's that dang mask at? Here we go. But yeah, table saw for sure. I couldn't even think of. I mean, probably the next most expensive thing would be my my toolbox. But that's a little cheapy toolbox that I actually got off the tool guy for a pretty good discount. Because it had one, he repoed it off a guy who couldn't pay for it, and then also, I guess while he was loading it on the truck, he dented the top corner of it, so I got a pretty sweet deal on it. I haven't really, I've spent a bunch of money just investing in tools, but I've definitely not bought any high-ticket items as of yet. I just really honestly haven't had the capital to do so. It's it's rough. Oh, bro, if you want to see homemade table saw, dude, I have, I just probably don't. I don't want to send you to my personal Facebook, I guess, because I don't accept friends unless I know them in real life. Either way, though, I had a memory post pop up, and it was my old shop, way before I got this thing, and I had taken a broken rigid portable table saw, and basically the base had broken apart completely. So I took the whole saw out and actually mounted it underneath a piece of plywood, and then I mounted the fence guide rail on the front of this 2x4 table I made, and basically had my fence slide on that. Oh boy, it was pretty horrible. But hey, I had to get orders out, and I wanted to get working, so I did what I could when I could. That's kind of, how it goes. I guess that's the spirit of things, is trying to improvise and make do with what you have. But yeah, no doubt it's a really nice table saw for sure. I'm super happy with it. It's the Grizzly geez, so much sawdust on there. G0715P. I doubt if they even make this anymore. This is a hybrid table saw. It's like a cross between a cabinet saw and a a shop saw. It is a belt drive, which is really nice because I don't know how loud it sounds on video to you guys, but the startup is actually pretty quiet on there. Okay, where did I put my pencil at now? I'm always losing things. Oh no. All right, hopefully I lost the camera. Lost the camera, still have the mic. All right, back to this. Okay, so that is my top angle. I need my 45 to come off of here. No, maybe, yeah, no. All right, I'm gonna hope I cut this right the first time. I'm gonna cut one more side on this piece to have a hope it works kind of thing. Oh, I'm sure with a DIY saw. I mean, I would say any tool you ever buy, tools are an investment to make money. I would almost say, even if you're a homeowner, having the right tool for a job and the knowledge will save you thousands of dollars, you know, because I'll tell you what, repair places, they like to get paid just for even showing up. Which, you know, hey, that is what it is. I understand. I guess, you know, you probably show up to a lot of jobs where you realize that the person doesn't want the service after you give them the price, and you just spent a bunch of gas money and time and whatnot. But yeah, it's definitely nice to be able to fix stuff on your own. There we go. Just right. All right, so hopefully I cut this right. We're going to see. Geez, that's not going to work that way. I guess I'll have to... Oh, I guess I can do it that way. So I have to line up this blade pretty precisely because I actually need my scrap piece, which is kind of unusual. Normally you want to hold the piece that you're cutting, but in this situation, just with the way my 45 flips, I need to do it this way. So I'm trying to carefully line it up. You can always cut it a little big, you know, and kind of cut a little bit in and then go back down and readjust, but you can't cut too much off at first. All right, so we're going to see how that works. A little too big. Oh, that's only going to make it bigger. Wrong way. I'm just trying to take a tiny bit off each time. I want to get it as close as I can. All right, there we go. right, now hopefully this little piece is what I needed. This little piece. Z Customs, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. All right, hold on. Let's see. All right, that is it. Now we just need to cut a few more. All right, so there's one side. Now I need to try to remember which way I have to cut this on each of them. Okay. So the angle is that way. So if I just flip it, should be the same thing. I need to move the fence. Difference of the saw blade thickness. All right. Too big. Still too big. Still too big. Really trying to just dial it in there. A little more. Measure 25 times, cut once. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm gonna cut a little bit more off. I really want this thing to come to a fine point. There we go. And there's another one. Oh, I should have marked my angled side again. That's okay. All right. Now I'm going to cut one more, or actually two more. Okay. Almost. There we go. One more. Oh, the dust blowing in my face. Stop anytime. So I'll stop moving. All right. Oh. Perfect first try. Fourth time is the charm. All right. So that's all our pieces. Move our angle back. Now we're just going to cut them down to length. Man, my blade's smoking. Make sure there's no fire. All right. Okay, where'd I put them at? All right, here we go. So I need one for each long side. I gotta cut a good end on them. Oh my gosh. Man, I was a 16th off of cutting that too short, just cutting the scrap off of there. Here's what I actually need to cut it to. If you guys can see that little pencil line there. Yeah, so if I cut this little piece off any bigger, I would have just screwed myself. I got lucky. Alright, there's one. Fit it in there. Yeah, a little tight. Trim it down a tiny bit. A little more. These pieces are so thin, you're going to have a hard time forcing them into place without breaking, so I'm going to trim a tiny bit more off of this bad boy. Hopefully that's enough. Should be. Oh, there we go. Perfect. The patience paid off. All right, we can get rid of these pieces. All right, so we got our one side done. Now we're going to get this other side cut. Take this damn mask off. It's starting to actually get hot in here, moving around a lot. But also it's just classic Florida, cold in the morning. And then by the time it gets midday, it's short and t-shirt weather. Or you almost have to wear it or you're going to get way too overheated. Too tight. Trim it a tiny bit. Perfect fit. All right, now one more 45 for the center. The bends look like the inside of a guitar. The bends? There's no bends in it, but there are a lot of angles and stuff. Nice. All right, those pieces are in. Z Customs. I've probably been building enclosures for 5 years, maybe 6, maybe 7. Could be 7 at this point. Yeah, I don't know. I worked at a cabinet shop, and I always wanted to be a carpenter, and then really just me and my buddy, just trying to compete with one another. You know, who could have the loudest system in their vehicle. We ended up building quite a few boxes, failing quite a few times, and it was kind of fun, you know, messing around. Kind of got to express my creativity. I do like art and stuff too a lot, so actually one of my other, you know, kind of, I guess, dream jobs, or in high school, you know, we had a senior project, and it was basically going to be on, I did it on what I was going to do for a living, and I did mine on actually having a t-shirt company, so I do slightly fancy myself as artistic, so kind of a good blend for me between art and cabinetry or carpentry, which I really like both of them. Definitely not what I've seen myself doing. I seen myself building or creating some sort of something, but I never seen myself building subwoofer boxes, I guess you could say. I've definitely always been into bass. You know, my friends growing up, you know, their parents had a system. Actually, one of my best friends growing up, Trevor, his parents had a system, and I could always remember them playing like West Side Connection, like taking us places, and Cypress Hill, like just a bunch of rap, hip hop, and just the bass, man. Like I really loved it for whatever reason. So I was definitely into bass before it even, you know, started building systems. I had my little bedroom setup that I like to play with. I always liked having bass in that. It's definitely been fun, just in general. Oh, I mean the bending on the other project. I was thinking of doing that for a guitar-shaped subwoofer box. Other project. Maybe you were just referring to one of my other videos, I think. But thank you anyway, I suppose. All right. Get some shorter nails. These pieces are kind of thin. Just gonna brad nail them on just to hold them in place while the glue dries, and then we can get the port in there and get that glued up and nailed and drying. All right, so those are in. Now, get our port in there. Where did our port go? All right, let's see how long we've been going. About an hour. We'll get this port figured out, and then we'll move on to the next things. Okay, square. Colby, how's it going, man? Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you're having a good morning or a good day. It's 9:20, it's still early. All right. So I am going to put a few screws inside the port. Also, this will kind of help me find where I need to screw and nail once I get the piece in there. I'm going to go ahead and pre-drill some holes from the inside of the enclosure, kind of where I have it marked out with pencil where the port's going to lie. You got to try to remember the port is at an angle, so you need to drill it at an angle. If you don't, you probably blow out the side of your wood piece. Trying to match the angle of the port with the drill. Just going to put a few for now. That'll give me those holes in itself will give me an idea of exactly where to put more if I feel necessary. A little bit of glue. Colby at 720 there. 2 hours difference. All right. Some more glue, spread it out. Again, this is our port piece right here. Need to make sure this is, well, every piece you need to make sure is on really well, but the port's definitely going to be a spot where you're going to get some, shaking, vibrating. Also, too, you have to remember you kind of only attached on 3 sides. All right, line that up. I have to kind of blindly shoot that, but I think I can manage. No strays so far. Nice. All right, cool. So we got that. Now we're going to flip it over, and we already have our kind of screw holes. We got the holes I pre-drilled earlier. That gives us an idea of where to nail it. We're just nailing it to kind of hold it in place for when we do put the screws in. Ultimately, the glue is going to be what really holds it. Again, you got to remember that your port is at an angle. It's a downward slope, so you kind of have to also point your gun at a downward slope. Kind of keeping that in mind. That went good. No strays. Nice. There is actually nails in here. I was starting to almost doubt it. Still good. Sweet. All right. So now we're going to pre-drill. All right, it's already pre-drilled. We're going to countersink it. If I can find my countersink somewhere in here. Oh, this is the worst way to store drill bits possible. All right, here it is. All right, I'm gonna be using 1.25" drywall screws. They're coarse thread, so they're good for wood. They come in a very large box, so it's convenient. And for whatever reason, they seem to want to tax on the actual wood screws. I mean, they might be slightly stronger, I'll admit that, but again, we're really doing this until the glue dries. This is kind of an insurance policy, I guess you could say. Also, we should hopefully never need the screws. The glue will do the work for us. All right, port is in, although that does look a little crooked though. I'm gonna be honest. Where's my square? Oh no, we moved. All right, we gotta fix that. We got to fix that. Likely gonna have to use all new holes as well. Not sure what happened, but the port got a little bit out of square in between nailing and marking it out. Maybe arguably a tiny bit out of square is maybe okay, but we're gonna move it a little bit. Oh, you're talking about kerfing, Jimmy. Yes, kerfing is definitely a cool, definitely like a mind-blowing type of thing. I know every time I do it, I'm like, wow, you can bend wood. Yeah, if you guys are curious, I do have a kerf tutorial video on the page. It's a 2-part video, kind of because there's a lot to explain in it, to be honest with you. Okay, so we're definitely more square there. Let's check this top. A little bit more. Good there. Good there. Okay, much better. Now, we're definitely going to have to drill some new holes. Where's my countersink at? And this thing is so dull, I'm funny. Oop, said new hole, dang it. Nice. All right, check the square again, make sure we're not moving. Yeah, that was like quite a bit off. Also, we're going to have to remember that our piece is a little higher now too, so a little higher. Drill down at the angle. Of course, I lost my screws. I'm going to grab a couple more. If you guys are just tuning in, this is for a 2018 Ford F-150. It's 3 kicker CVX 10s. Nice. Got that in. Okay, we're going to go slightly higher, not as high on this one. We'll go to the back of it. Trying to match the angle also. Again, remember, the port's at an angle, so you got to keep the drill at an angle when you're screwing it in and when you're doing your pre-drill. Nice. All right. So port is in. Now we have to cut the hole on the side. We're going to wait to have the top on because we're going to use the flush trim router bit to actually just, we're going to have a pilot hole in here that I'll drill in and then take the router bit and go all the way around it. Pretty simple. Okay, port's in. Add a little extra glue on the seams like we do on all the other pieces. All right, so we got our window braces in, we got the port in, we got our 45s in there for bracing. Actually, I want to add 2 more here probably because I am going to also cut a large 45 on the side of the enclosure, kind of match the seat a little better. But we're going to leave that off for a part 4. We got enough work done on this side. We've already been streaming for an hour and 10 minutes. So if you guys like what you've seen so far, let me know in the comments, in the live comments, or in the comments below if you're watching this after it's already been live streamed. Make sure you comment 1728 in the live chat and in the comments below, even if you're watching this after the fact. So I know you watched this far. This thing's turning out great. Thank you guys so much for everyone who's been viewing. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so right now. We got 11 people watching. We better have 11 likes on this video by the time it's done and shut out. Hopefully more than that because Again, we've been going for an hour. So we got a lot of work done on this thing. This thing's turning out really nicely. We're going to be working next on the top, cutting out some notches to make sure we have humps on the top for the motor. Give it a little extra clearance for the motor. Make sure that these subs don't hit, but possibly he maybe can change out for something bigger in the future. Again, you are going to be a little limited because squeezing 310s in an underseat situation is already cutting it to like the bare minimum. So we're going to stop here, guys. Like I said, thank you so much for tuning in, and make sure you drop me a comment, like this video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're going to be back in a few hours, continue on this thing, and keep going.